Hi, this is Al. So we're excited to let you know that the Ability Project is back. You will remember that last year we started with thinking around who is being left behind, because the Sustainable Development Goals have this mantra: leave no one behind. Now, if you think about that, that's a really big statement, because what it's really saying is that every single human being in the world must be counted, must um, contribute in some way to how development is done. But then, how do we make sure that no one is being left behind, and who is being left behind? We did a little bit of an exercise where we identified two groups at the time who are being left behind. We found that even while women are being left behind, there's a specific group of women who are being left behind, and this is stay at home moms. They're essentially invisible in the larger scheme of policy making. The other group that we found is being left behind is the people living with disability. Now, one of the things that then we found is here in Nairobi, for a person who lives with disability to move from one area to another in the city, it's really complicated. In fact, it's impossible. If you know Nairobi well and you came from railways on Haile Selassie Avenue and tried to come all the way to the University of Nairobi on the other side of the central business district of Nairobi, as a person with disability, it is impossible. So we started thinking about how do we do this? Well, one of the things that we did last year is that we started working with Crystal Asige. You will know her from the Blind Girl Maneno's YouTube channel. Go follow it. Blind Girl Maneno's. Just go now, go over there, click subscribe, then come back and subscribe here, okay? Good. Anyway, so Crystal from Blind Girl Maneno started working with us, and her job was to essentially help us to understand what are the challenges, how are people being left behind. Accessibility was one of the biggest ideas around this. And so we decided to simply start with one of our side nyake. Side nyake is side project at the Open Institute. We started a side nyake to just go and map out the city, the central business district of Nairobi, to establish which streets are accessible, which buildings are accessible, and what is their level of accessibility. She taught us a little bit about universal design, and we started evaluating those streets and buildings according to the principles of universal design. This year, we're going to be going even further in doing that. If you go to www.ability.or.ke, you will see the map that we did last year. And now we're going to be going even further out into Nairobi and mapping even more. We're going to be mapping out the Westlands area, the Upper Hill area, several malls and several university campuses, as well as some government offices that have very really high traffic, like the Huduma Center in town. What we're going to be doing is trying to establish which of those places are easy for, which are the areas of Nairobi that are easiest for somebody, for a person with disability to move around. And if they can move around, then everybody else can move around a lot more comfortably. And in addition to that, as well as the mapping, the thing that we shall be doing is that with the help of Hewlett, we are going to be developing our own organization in a couple of ways. One, we're developing a policy, sort of a commitment of our own on diversity, equity, and inclusion. We've had one, but it's not quite as coherent and as comprehensive as we'd like. So one of the things that we want to do is that we want to be more succinct, more expressive about what our desires are in that respect. And then in addition to that, because we wanted Crystal to start working full time at the Open Institute, we then started to sort of rework the office. We have changed our floor to be of a higher contrast than it was before. We have been doing a little bit of work on ramps around the office, and there's quite a bit more that is going to be done. In fact, as I'm speaking, you're probably seeing some of the footage of the work that we were doing. And there's going to be a lot more that we shall be doing in order to make our own office to be as inclusive as possible, to allow for anyone to comfortably walk into our office and sit down and work and do what they need to do. If you think that there's a way that you want to participate in the Ability Project, there's certainly a call for volunteers. So Ability at openinstitute.or.ke is the email for you to send your interest to, and we shall be sure to find a way to accommodate you. Meanwhile, there are two websites for you to check out. www.openinstitute.com is our organizational website, and www.ability.or.ke is the website that you go to follow all the stuff, all the news around ability. One more thing, Crystal will be coming a lot to tell you about everything that we're going to be doing. So please subscribe to this channel and make sure that you follow us. Thank you.